This is episode 27 with author, entrepreneur, and Steve Harvey's 2015 Neighborhood Award-winning philanthropist, Nehemiah Davis. Hello and welcome to the episode of the UV Effect podcast. My name is Gabrielle Jordan and thank you so much for joining me. Today's a pretty special episode, not only because this episode is the first guest of our third season, but this guest happens to be one of my mentors and very good friends. His name is Nehemiah Davis, and he is a serial entrepreneur and philanthropist. Starting his foundation, the Nehemiah Davis Foundation, where he gives back to his community of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He has a laundry list of incredible works and deeds that he does, such as weekly food drives for the homeless, annual ski trips for underserved children, as well as school supplies drives and bicycle drives for underserved children as well. He's incredible, and he's been recognized for his incredible work from Steve Harvey in the Neighborhood Awards. So he's amazing. I am very inspired by him and all the work that he does do for himself. But I also said that, not for himself, but for others. But I also said that he's a serial entrepreneur as well, which means he has done quite a bit of work under entrepreneurship and his work in his businesses. One of the things that really stands out for me and for many people is his whole focus of teaching people and inspiring people, motivating people to step into their greatness. So he's written a book. He has a journal that goes along with that book. He also does events as well and tours, as well as a membership. So this place where people can come, it's a membership community where people come and learn how to step into their greatness. He is pretty incredible. He travels all the time, and with his work, working with Step Into Greatness and his work with the Nehemiah Davis Foundation, I don't know how he has time for it all, but he really does rock and roll. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear about his story and how he got started and how he ended up where he is today. So in this episode, that's what that's going to be all about. That's what we're going to be talking about today, how he became an entrepreneur, an author, and a philanthropist. And he'll be teaching us how we can be philanthropists as well. And, whether it be big or small, how we can give back in the best ways that we can give back to our community and the most impactful ways that we can give back. And he'll also be sharing with you and all of us how you can step into your greatness using your unique value. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right in. Welcome, Mr. Nehemiah, or I'll just call you Nehemiah, but thank you for joining me.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so proud of you. I just love to see your continuous growth every day. So I'm happy to be on your awesome podcast.
Thank you. And I'm excited for you to be on. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure you already do know that Nehemiah is my mentor. He is so inspiring, and he really pushes me and encourages me to do more because he's constantly doing more himself. And so today I'm just excited to get into your story, to have my audience hear more about you, and to learn about, your journey and what they could take from you. And I'm sure they can take many nuggets from you. So let's jump right in. I want to start off with talking about, your background, how you were, where you began your story. And I remember I heard you speak a few times, and you talked about how you were raised, single parent, your mom raised you because your father was incarcerated and you were very young. And you talked about how it was a difficult point in your life because there was just a lot of downs for you. I mean, you didn't complete high school, right? And you didn't complete college too, correct? And I know, so I think about, your story, and I'm just like, it's so crazy how you still, going from that background, really not really having a lot of support from a lot of other people. Maybe a lot of other people didn't think that you would even make much of yourself as well. So I'm wondering how, tell us about how you got from point A to point B, how you were able to get to this place that you are now from where you were back then.
I truly believe self-assessment. I believe self-assessment is very important. And when it comes to achieving success, I believe you got to be like, listen to me. I got fired from my 10th job. As you know, Dad been in jail since I was 2, kicked out of high school, kicked out of college, fired from 10th my 10 jobs. But at a point in my life, I made a decision that I had to do better. So I believe the first key to success is making that decision with yourself that I want more for my life than what I currently have. I want more for my life than what I'm currently doing. So I made a decision at that very point that I will no longer allow my past situations. I will no longer allow current situations to stop me from becoming what I could be. So I really think it begins with a decision in your mindset to shift, like I'm going to be great. And then you begin to live that out every single day. I also, at that point, coined myself mentally unemployable. I told myself that entrepreneurship absolutely had to work, or it had to work. Like, I want to be so successful that I'm willing to die for it. Like, I'm not willing to work for anyone. I'm not willing to do certain things. And there's no way that I'm willing to do that. And once you operate with that type of intensity and mindset, you won't fail. You know, I don't have a plan B. My plan A has to work. Like, I don't have a backup. So I think once you make the decision not to have that backup plan, you'll be successful.
And those are two incredible, like, mental shifts I think are so important for somebody to take on, whether they want to be in business or whatever, you know, whatever goals they're trying to achieve. It's that mental shift of, one, being able to tell yourself that, you know, where you came from does not determine, like you said, where you're going to be and who you're going to be. And then also that shift of putting your all into something, not thinking about, you know, what's scary about it, not thinking about if it fails, but thinking about, like, what can happen if it does, if I do succeed, how hard do I have to push in order to make this work? I love that. And those are so crucial. And I think are things that people tend to miss out on or forget to do before they jump into anything, and what really holds them back. But you didn't let your journey hold you. You didn't let that past hold you back, which is so inspiring about your story, especially.
And that's what most people do. They hold themselves back with their own thoughts. They hold themselves back with their past. They hold themselves back with negative thinking. So I tell people, no more stinking thinking.
No more stinking thinking. Okay, so I actually, so I follow you on Instagram, of course, and you are always posting about how you are traveling to some other country, like every other week, every other month. It's crazy. And, you're traveling first class and going to amazing, beautiful countries. And I think that's just incredibly inspiring in of itself, being, doing what you do, especially because you do so much for other people. And then you are still being able to do incredible things in the world as well. So I think another thing that's really interesting about, your life and opportunities that you have is that a lot of these opportunities that you have come from the relationships that you built with people. Like, you are such a people person. I know we walk around Philly, like when you go to Philly, you often take us to places and stuff, and you get stopped like every other block by someone that you know or build a relationship with. And it's incredible because, a lot of these opportunities that you have and, where you've gotten this really because you've taken the time to build relationships with people, and that's just a gift that you have. I want to know, what advice would you give to someone that wants to build that kind of relationship with somebody, and really even to the point where you're building a relationship and that person sees value in you, or they're going to want to invest in you and they want to support you?
Yeah, I think it first starts off with being authentic. Like, that's literally me. I believe a lot of people on social media, they show one side, but then in person they're not. So I think, the same person you are on the field, you need to be that person off the field. And also, ask yourself, how can I add value to other people's lives? I think the key to success in building out relationships is being a value adder, right? How can you add value to other people's lives? And I believe in reciprocity. I believe in karma. Whatever I constantly put out into the universe, it has to come back. It's a universal law. So I put out positive energy. I want to help you reach your goals. I want to help you reach your dreams. Understand, service to many leads to greatness. So I try to help as many people as possible reach their goals and dreams. So in turn, it's a guarantee that I'm going to reach mine, right? So I think it's very important to start building the relationships, and also showing up. A lot of people don't show up for whatever reason. They miss out on events because they got to go by themselves. They're scared to network on social media. So many people are stuck in their small cocoon or small-mindedness, so that stops them from becoming who they could possibly be. Right. So I always tell people, man, get to the spot, network, build relationships with people, and never quit or give in.
And you really do live, that concept of, I guess the law of attraction, so to speak, or, you put out so much, and that really does allow you to get so much from so many people. I mean, well, I actually take the time now to talk about what you do for people, because if I don't know, you've been spotlighted on various TV shows. You've been spotlighted by, Steve Harvey for the work that you do. It's incredible how much you put out into the world and put out into your community of Philly. So you started really at a young age with your family, really giving back, and, you would give food to the homeless, almost every weekend. And then now, you've really taken that concept of giving back and blown it up onto a much larger scale, where you have the Nehemiah Foundation, Nehemiah Davis Foundation, and you are, giving, money, you're giving time, you're giving experiences to, less fortunate, to young people that don't have much, and something that they won't ever forget. And I think that's just so incredible. Can you tell us about the Nehemiah Davis Foundation, why you started it, and what are your hopes for it?
We started the Nehemiah Davis Foundation in 2007. I had my first business, which was a fruit truck. My mom like, son, hey, you're making money, you need to give back. My mom, what should we do? She said, how about we feed the homeless? So I gave my mom $50. She went out, bought some lunch meat, some sandwiches, some juices. My mother and my sisters made sandwiches. They went downtown to feed the homeless. Came back in like a half an hour. I'm like, what happened? They said, we fed the homeless that quick. I said, no way. So the next week I said, I'm going to go with you guys. And then I seen that they did it that quick. So for $50, we were able to feed between 50 to 75 people. We were able to make a grand impact on someone's life for something minimum. Mm-hmm. So from that point on, I was hooked. One of my favorite quotes is, once your mindset is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. So at that point in time, I saw that I could make a difference in someone's life for a minimum fee. I just wanted to do that. I fell in love with it. Then we started doing back to school events where we provide backpacks for hundreds of kids. Then we did Thanksgiving events where we busted hundreds of homeless people, provide them with warm meals, haircuts, and coats. Then we did Christmas events, and then it just kept going and going and going. I understand making a difference in one person's life make me want to just keep adding to other people's lives. Mm-hmm. So that's how we started, and that's why we keep doing it. Now we even have a foundation in South Africa. My CEO reached out saying, hey, we're speaking such and such. And it all started from one. So I encourage people just to get started. It starts with one person, and don't despise small beginnings. Like, it takes time to get you to where you got to go, but just everything you need to do, just keep in mind, starts with one. Starts with one person to buy your book, one homeless person to feed. Starts with you doing the first episode of the podcast, and then it will continue to go. So just start with one.
And I think that is really incredible, the idea that, like, you just kind of just started because, one, your mom was like, go give back. And I think that is really great that you had that kind of support and that force. So it was like, do something for somebody else now that you're making money. But I also think that what's incredible is that you, again, still being young, you saw that you could make such an impact on a small scale. And it was like, all right, well, I want to make an impact on a large scale now. And you do a lot of amazing things, like, for your community, like you said. Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving feast and Christmas and the bikes and the backpacks, and then you have the ski trip that you do. I mean, it's really amazing. I'm inspired. I constantly just, like, every time I see you do something for your community, I'm like, I want to do so much more now too. It's very inspiring. I think it motivates other people to do the same thing, to be a part of that and to give back as well. And I think a big part of you is what that kind of inspires me, is like, you really do embody the idea of what the UV effect is about. And that really is about using your gifts and your talents, which you have that gift of just being around people, being able to build relationships with people, and being able to talk with people. And then they're willing to, invest in you, and they're willing to invest in what you're doing. And then you give that back to other people. Then you are able to make an impact on other people's lives and affect other people's lives because of the gift that you had in the very beginning. And I think that's just that full circle ideal is incredible and very inspiring. And so I'm wondering, what would you say for somebody that maybe wants to be able to use their UV for some, their unique value, to be able to affect or help someone else's life? How do you think that they can go about using it? What advice would you give to them to go about using it?
I learned the best way of doing anything is by doing it. Literally, I think so many people overcomplicates what it starts to make a difference in someone else's life. So many people overcomplicates what it starts to becoming an entrepreneur. So many people overcomplicate what it takes to becoming an author. I believe the best way to learn and the best way to start is by starting and by doing, right? So if I was to answer that question, I would say give your gift away to the world. Identify first. A lot of people are trying to figure out what they were put on earth to do. One quick way for you to identify that: what comes easier to you and harder to others? What could you do for the rest of your life and not get paid for? Once you answer yourself those questions, that's probably what you were put here on this earth to do. What do you love? And once you identify that, I say give it away. Give it away as much as you can. If you're a speaker, go speak, go pour in as many lives as you can. And eventually you will become so good at what you do that people have no other choice but to pay you. People have no other choice but to book you. People have no other choice but to support you. So give away your UV, your unique value, and I promise you it's going to come back in tenfold and in just ways you never thought it could come back. But if you're going to be selfish and not share your gift with the world, you never know what you possibly could have created for yourself as well as others.
And I love what you said that you if you put so much out there, if you give your gift away so much, you work so much at it, and you take so much time pouring your gift to other people's lives, you'll become so good at it that people won't have any other choice but to pay you. I love that. That is so. I think that hits the nail right on the head, because I think people, like you said, people do kind of overthink it, and they think like, what else can I do, or how can I do this, or is there some set rule of what I have to do in order to get this done? But like you said, you were talking about just do it, just start it and work on developing it. And of course, you're not going to get paid right away, but if you keep working on it and keep putting it out there, and also, and being happy with being able to do that, with being happy to just give as much as you can of your gift, then that's when things will come in return as well. That really hit the nail on the head there.
And it's a funny story. It's just crazy how things unfold. Like, initially, when I first met you via online, I reached out to your mom saying, hey, we want to come give a award away to you. Yes, you guys could have charged for whatever the price was to do that, but y'all came and accepted the award. And we built a relationship that has been mutual beneficial off of that, me giving you an award, as well as just say even your mother. I always tell people, I'll say, Marcella, people see something in you that sometimes you don't see in yourself. And one of the reasons why I won the Steve Harvey Award, because she said, I think you can win this. I think you got a shot. So I also, just you got to speak life over people and let them know what you see in them that they may don't see in yourself, because your purpose is connected to someone else's. So that's another thing I just wanted to touch on that. So
no, that's a great ad, because I like that you said that your purpose is attached to other people or to someone else's. And like I was talking to somebody else on the podcast and doing this interview with another person, and they were talking about how some people think that their purpose should be grandiose and that they should be on every big stage and doing all the amazing things just so they can make the most money and have the nicest house. But sometimes your purpose doesn't have to be as big as that is to make as much of an impact. Sometimes it's just this one other person that you can impact, and that other person impacts another person and another person. So I love the idea that that you think of it in the way that you're focusing on using what it is that you love, using your purpose in order to not try to get everything that you ever desired, but in order to find actual joy and happiness. And that might just lead to impacting one other person that does something more for someone else.
Starts with one.
Exactly. So I actually want to talk to you now about some of the other endeavors that you do. I know, of course, you are an entrepreneur, and you have been an entrepreneur since you were pretty young. When did you start the fruit truck?
I think I was like 20 or 19. 20. I want to say.
So you're
not as young as you started your career.
But you're fairly young to be entrepreneur, especially since young entrepreneurship I don't think was really around back then. So I would say that's fair. That's still young entrepreneurship. And so and then you have other businesses now. Like one thing that you do is you have a company where people clean up the garbage and things like that, and clean up the houses and stuff like that, right? Yeah. And that that does really well as well. And so what you have started doing, I think you started it a few years ago, where you have trainings, and you help entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground and support them. You have events, trainings, the membership program, Circle of Greatness, and then you also have your book, the Step Into Greatness Journal. So I want you to tell us about, that journey to kind of figuring out that you wanted to help other entrepreneurs, that you wanted to get this going. Then tell us about your book and the things that you're doing for these entrepreneurs and business owners.
Well, as I stated earlier, and as Jim Rohn says, service to many leads to greatness. Mm-hmm. So I come to the realization as you help enough people solve their problems, all yours will be solved. Mm-hmm. You help other people pay their bills, all yours will be paid, right? So I've been helping entrepreneurs for years, whether that's putting them on podcasts, giving them opportunities literally for free, just wanting people to live their best life and connecting them. Mm-hmm. So about 6 months ago, I decided to start Circle of Greatness Academy officially, where people pay now monthly to be a part of this membership, where I'm still continuing to do what I love. But now I happen to get paid for it. But I did it for so long for free that now it's like a bonus. Like, I'm getting paid for actually doing what I'm already doing. Right. So I started being an author 3 years ago when I said I'm going to write my own book, and then I ended up writing 3. So I'm not the author of 1 book, but I'm the author of 3 books. And I really challenge everyone else to become an author and just put your story out in the world. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite questions I like to ask people is, what can you create once and make money forever? Like, what can you create once and make money forever? So books, video trainings, webinars, just things that you can put your energy in once and then reap the benefits of it forever. So I transitioned from out of the junk removal so I can focus solely on entrepreneurship and helping people reach their goals and dreams. So, once people identify that one thing that makes them happy and then identify how they can do it once and get paid forever, I think more people will be living a fulfilled life, because right now I feel like I'm living one of my best lives that I ever could live, basically because I'm helping people and I get to wake up every single day and do what I love, which is Circle of Greatness Academy, Nehemiah Davis Foundation, and building my personal brand as an author and entrepreneur.
And just so you know, for you guys who are watching and listening, the links to everything will be down below. So you can check out his book. You can check out the website, which will see the Circle of Greatness and everything there. Because we definitely want you to join it, or to even to look at it and look at what you're doing. Because I have your book. I've read your book, and it's not just a book; it's a journal. So you have these quotes on each page, on every other page, that are very inspiring. And then you have the workbook, so to speak, where there's things that you can do to kind of get started on that journey of greatness right then and there. So I definitely recommend checking out the book. It was very, very good. I recommend it, and it'll be down below. So I think one of the questions I definitely wanted to ask you, or at least talk to you about, is how you're a person that really takes advantage of the opportunities that you're given. You just take it in full force, and that's real. I think that's something that people really need to learn how to do, is to take advantage of opportunities. And I think with you, starting from where you were, from the place where it was maybe people didn't think that you would be much. People didn't think that you would do much with your life. But what you've done is kind of really define that idea that, sure, where you came from does make up who you are, but who you were doesn't mean that's who you're going to be. So and that's something, again, like you were talking about, that you don't have to be who you once were. You can change, you can grow in your life. Those things, those aspects of who you are, I think is something that people really need to learn and need to remember, or to pull from and to keep in their lives. So I'm wondering, what advice or what would you say to somebody that feels like there is nowhere to go, they don't really know what to do next, how to advance their lives, so to speak, and how can they take advantage of opportunities? How can they find the opportunities, the little ones that maybe seem like nothing? How can they take it and make the most out of it?
As I stated earlier, 90% of success is showing up. And that also means showing up to your dreams, showing up to events, just getting in the atmosphere, getting in the spot of the things you want to do. So the very first thing of getting the opportunities you want, I think, is identifying, what do you really want out of your life? Who do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? That's the number one step, I was saying. Then once you identify specifically that, now we got to learn how to either monetize and, just find opportunities that are based around what you're doing. Another reason why a lot of people miss out opportunities because they don't have a paycheck tied to them. People miss out on opportunities because they dressed up and they look like work. Some opportunities that you get will cost you sometimes. It may cost you to get there. It may cost you time. It may cost you money, but you just have to do it anyway. And another thing I need people to understand about opportunity, and I'll go back to it, is that when you miss an opportunity and you don't take advantage of an opportunity, it's not only affecting you, but it's affecting everyone who you're connected to. I missed out on the opportunity of being on a phone call with Les Brown, where they personally asked me to be on a phone call with Les Brown, and I missed out on that opportunity. But it didn't just affect me, it affected all 300 members of Circle of Greatness Academy, because now he may not be a speaker on that phone call, because now I might have to go through the hoops to get on. But if I was on a phone call with him, it was a guaranteed in. Right. So what am I saying to people is the opportunities that you're missing, if you don't want to do it for you, I need you to do it for those people who are connected to you. So me missing that opportunity, it affected 300 people. So ET says you got to take advantage of an opportunity of a lifetime during a lifetime of the opportunity, which means is every opportunity will not always be there. So, start going to those events, even if you got to go by yourself. Start sending people private messages asking how you can support, how you can serve, how you can volunteer. Start volunteering as much as you can and finding your way to serve. Opportunities are often laying around at those particular places. Also, get on Instagram Lives, watch people lives, watch podcasts. Listen to podcasts. Do anything that can enhance your skill set, because sometimes opportunities come and people aren't prepared when they come. But if they've been doing this, reading, watching videos, learning everything there is to know about a subject, once that opportunity comes your way, I'm prepared, right? So I have a lot of people, hey, would you like to go on a trip with me out of the country tomorrow? And if they tell me they don't have their passport, that means they just missed the opportunity because they're unprepared. Right. So whatever that opportunity that you're asking for, prepare yourself for it, because you never know when it's going to come.
And I one of those things that you talked about there was talking about how don't miss out on an opportunity, because you also might miss out on the opportunity for many other people. It's not just about you in that sense. You could also be, prohibiting someone else from reaching something as well. And I think that's an idea that a concept that is also something that needs to be remembered or needs to be implemented, in the sense that if you're not, like you said, if you're not going to do something for yourself, then do it for somebody else. I think that's where the most motivation really comes from, when you're doing something for somebody else, when when someone else is relying on you, then it becomes so much more, it becomes so much bigger. And I think that's where the most success really stems from, when that moment where it's changing from being about you to being about the many other people or even the one other person that's around you. And I think that's an important thing. And then, like you said, also, again, being prepared. That's always key, top of the list, important information. Always be prepared, always be ready. I love that. So I do want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much first for joining me on the podcast. I'm so excited and happy that you were able to be on. You are always inspiring to me, of course, being my mentor. You are really great and just incredible in what you do for other people, and then also what you do for yourself and for your business and for your work. But before you go, I do want to make sure to give you a chance to say anything else that's happening, any upcoming events, any programs that you want to talk about.
Really, all I will really say, if you could do anything for me, people who are listening to this amazing podcast, continue to support Gabrielle, continue to spread the word, because she's helping young entrepreneurs and adults around the world live their best life. And in addition to that, just join Circle of Greatness Academy if you're looking to get to the next level, personally, professionally, relationally, and financially. We're giving you the tools you need to succeed and grow. Remember, we support you. We help you be in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So we want to help you get to that next level. So thank you so much for having me. It's an exact honor, and I'm looking forward to seeing your continuous growth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the UV Effect podcast. I hope that you enjoyed this interview with Mr. Nehemiah Davis. And if you did, and you're listening to this on GabrielleJordanInspires.com/the UV Effect, be sure to scroll down and check out all of Mr. Nehemiah's information, his website links, his books, his social media links, all of that to figure out how you can connect with him. Also, while you're there, and if you're listening to this on iTunes, be sure to leave us a comment and rating and let us know how you are liking these episodes so far, and also be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Last thing, be sure to head over to Instagram to follow us at the UV Effect, and and in order to check out different information about the upcoming guests, quotes from the episodes, as well as fun behind-the-scene clips. Again, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope that you will be here next Tuesday on the UV Effect podcast. Hope to join you. See you here then. I will get that down sooner or later. Bye.